I want to talk today about freedom of assembly, free speech, and free press in Iran. The leaders of the Islamic Republic promised in the Constitution to protect freedom of speech for Iranians, including freedom of the press. It promises that public gatherings and marches are allowed. These are basic human rights. The Iranian regime has denied these rights to the Iranian people for the last 40 years. During the massive protests over the last few weeks, the Iranian regime brutally violated the rights of the people to assemble, cut off access to the internet, and murdered innocent civilians. The United States strongly condemned these actions. We voiced our support for the Iranian protesters and their hope for a government that truly represents them, and not a government of the corrupt, by the corrupt, and for the corrupt. We will continue to take decisive action in imposing sanctions on individuals involved with suppression of free speech. For example, almost immediately we sanctioned Iran's Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Mohammad Javad Azari Jahromi. More sanctions are coming against the lawless regime. Recently, the Iranian regime intensified its attacks on journalists and their families inside and outside of Iran. The regime uses intimidation, harassment, and financial pressure on journalists from the Voice of America, Radio Farda, BBC Persian, Iran International, and many more media outlets. The regime has a dark history of jailing and murdering journalists, and so we strongly condemn the targeting of journalists and their families by the Iranian regime. We will continue to take decisive action to support freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and free speech.